watching O-Face Wrestling.
Yo, you are here with the MCW Tag Team Champions, Rush Hour, and that makes Showtime! Dion Epps
And Hot Boy, Tommy Seto.
and you're watching O-Face Wrestling.
What's good, guys? It's the Wrestle Bay of Professional Wrestling Vanity, your BCW Women's Champion. And I wanted to give a shout out to the best, O-Face Wrestling. You guys gotta check them out. Come on now, get on it. Love you guys. Bye.
That's right. O-Face Wrestling. Listen to the podcast. Listen. They are Dark Side approved. Howden approves it. O-Face Wrestling. I'll be listening. Will you?
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today on O-Face Wrestling. This is your host JT, and today I am joined by Tootie Lynn Ramsey. So thanks for joining us today on the show, Tootie.
You are so welcome, JT. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem at all. So Tootie, I got a few questions for you today. The first question is I want to know a little bit more about your other persona that you have, the Sei Sheen persona. So tell me a little bit about that.
So Sei Sheen is actually Tootie's inner spirit and also her inner dragon. So think of it like Pokemon. You know, you have Pikachu evolve to Raichu. That's basically what happened to Tootie. She evolved to Sei Sheen. Like, I guess Tootie wants to be taken more serious as a wrestler. Like, she basically awakened her inner self. And also Sei Sheen is cool. She wears a mask.
Yeah, that's the thing that kind of like I noticed when I saw you on social media. I saw the picture with the mask, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. Like, let me follow her and like try to get to know a little bit about her. Because me personally, like, I'm old school. I love wrestlers who wear masks and, you know, face paint and all that kind of stuff. So where did you come up with the idea for the mask?
I mean, at first I didn't really think about doing a mask. I've had like my classmates tell me that I should wear a mask because there's not really a lot of females who wear masks. I mean, if you go to Mexico, you'll see the luchadoras down there. They're wearing the mask. But what other character do you see that's a girl who looks like me and who wears a mask? So I was like, all right, I'll just wear a mask then, because, you know, it's something different and it's something that could help me stand out a lot. And plus, wearing the mask, it really helps me out when I'm in the ring, because just it makes me more confident, probably because I feel like that I'm shielding myself, if that makes sense. And plus I already love lucha. I like learning the lucha style, so, you know, why not?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely makes you stand out because, like you said, you don't see a lot of women wrestlers in the United States do that. So, and like I told you, that's how like I noticed you, because, you know, I don't see that kind of stuff that often, and, you know, I like that stuff. So I'm sure a lot of other fans, you know, feel the same way about it. And I've also heard the same thing from other wrestlers, like Finn Balor, for example. Like, he feels more comfortable with the face paint and the body art and all that kind of stuff. So it kind of gives you that extra confidence. So it definitely makes sense. Next question.
Yeah, people.
Oh, you can continue.
My bad. No, yeah, I was just gonna say people have compared me to the whole Finn Balor thing. I know he's got Demon Finn Balor, and then he got regular Finn Balor. So I've heard a few people say that about me as well. But continue.
Yeah. Like I said, it's definitely, the resemblance is definitely there. The next question I have is, what actually got you into wanting to become a wrestler?
It's something that I kind of always wanted to do, but I didn't want to jump into something else without, having some type of background, like fighting background. Like I want to be more, I guess, I don't know, like I want to be like more athletic first. So when I was 14, my mom put me in karate, and then it took me some years. I got my black belt, and then like after I got my black belt, I told myself, why not go try for wrestling. And then my mom and we were just Googling wrestling schools one day, and we found out there was one like 30 minutes from my house. So I went down there and checked it out and stepped in the ring, and I wound up liking it.
Yeah, that's definitely a really convenient 30 minutes. I've heard, that stories of some wrestlers having to like commute like 6 hours, they go and train. So that's definitely a huge benefit that you had. What's who trained you, by the way?
So, right now I am currently training under Michael Elgin, who's now on Impact. He used to be in New Japan, Ring of Honor. I was never with Elgin at first. When I first started training, which was in January of 2017, I started with a company named Dynamo, or called Dynamo Pro Wrestling. And my trainer at the time, his name was Sadie Blaze, but his ring name was Makazi. And I've been with them for a good 10 months maybe. And then I had switched over to Michael Elgin's class, because Elgin runs a class in their building. Like they're just like they're separate classes, but they're just under the same building.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. So you definitely, it seems like you've been you're in good hands and all, so that's really good. I won't lie, like I'm not too familiar with them. I don't watch Impact or Ring of Honor, but obviously, they're
Mm-hmm.
pretty, established companies, so that does say something right there. So growing up though, so you said, you did black belt and all that. Were you a fan, like a big fan of wrestling, back when you were younger?
So like when I was younger, I was aware of like Macho Man, Andre the Giant, Hulk Hogan, and all of them, because my mom would sit back and watch wrestling with my grandpa. So I was aware of like old school wrestling, and they would talk about it a lot too. So yeah, I was familiar with it.
Okay. Yeah, that's funny. Usually it's the kids who watch it and the parents just kind of watch in the background. So it's kind of like, the roles are reversed there. So
Oh yeah, it was very reversed.
so now my next question, what is, your future plans for the business like? What are some of your goals?
So one of my goals right now, I would like to, believe it or not, I want to gain more confidence, because I feel like I compare myself to other people too much, and I just think to myself like, man, I'm not going to get as good as that person, or like, oh man, like that person's like, super good in the ring, which is kudos on their part. So I want more confidence. I want to like learn more, like more. I don't know. I just want to learn more about the business, And another goal is I would like to get signed. I just want to do better. I want to do better. Like, I want to travel more, or work in Japan one of these days. I want to work in Mexico. I just want to wrestle all around the world.
Okay. So as far as like wrestling around the world, is it more of like a thing you want to do on the indies, or is it something you like have, a goal for like in WWE or AEW or something like that?
A little bit of both.
Okay, yeah, because I mean, you can obviously do both either way. You know, I know some people kind of want to go.
Mm-hmm.
Some people like the indies and they want to stay there because obviously you can kind of, make your own schedule versus, WWE, everything's, mandatory and all that kind of stuff. So, as far as wrestling
Right.
all around the world, what are some wrestlers that you would like to get in the ring with and wrestle?
Oh, well, I would in my area, I would like to wrestle one of my good friends. His name is Mike Outlaw, and I want to wrestle. I would like to wrestle Kenny Alfonso and Camaro Jackson, like in a singles. Um, I don't know. It's a lot of people I want to work. It's so many. I would like to wrestle my trainer Michael Elgin one of these days, if they'll allow it. If they just let it happen.
Mm-hmm.
There's this wrestler who I'm still getting familiar with. Her name is Trish Adora. I'm not sure if you heard of her, but I would like to work her one of these days. I would also like to work who else? I don't know how many people.
Well,
So far that's it.
okay, well, I will say I do know who Trisha Dora is. I've actually met her twice, so yeah, she is awesome. I saw the last wrestling event that I was able to attend was in Washington D.C. back in early March, and she was at that event. So yeah, I'm very very familiar with her. So yeah, that's cool that you want
Oh my god. Is she nice?
Yeah, she's very, very nice. Definitely like
Okay.
yeah, the second time I met her, which was at the Primetime Wrestling event in DC, she actually noticed me when she was running around the ring giving high fives. She saw me and, her eyes got big and she said, "Hey." Yeah, so she's a sweetheart. She's really, really nice. So yeah, you'll definitely get a, good impression when you meet her.
Dude, I hope so.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get her on the show one day too. She's, definitely one of the ones that I'm, really looking forward to hopefully having an opportunity to do one of these interviews with.
Yeah, I would like to get in the ring with her. That would be a fun match. She'll probably kick Tootie's ass, and she ain't gonna kick Seisheen ass though.
Well, if I ever get the opportunity to talk to her on here, or just next time I see her at an event, because she lives in DC, which isn't far from me, so I'm sure I'll definitely see her, and I'll mention you to her and see what she has to say about
Oh, please do.
that. So when you were mentioning other wrestlers that you wanted to wrestle, you were mentioning a lot of men. So obviously you're really big on intergender wrestling. So what's your opinion about that? I know some people look down on it, but then there's a lot of people that are for. So what's your opinion on it?
I love intergender wrestling. Like it's something new, you know? And I feel like, it shows that women can hang in there with the big boys. And the only people who are against it are the old school wrestlers. Like they just say it's not real. Like I don't know, like they just don't like it for some reason. They don't believe that the women should be in there with the men. But it's like, okay, well, first of all, we ain't stay in the past or nothing. Like we trying to evolve and do something new, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I mean, like you said, it proves that the women can hang with the men. I mean, we all know that it obviously isn't a real fight. It's wrestling. It's not a brawl or anything like that. But it's
Right. And it's like, oh, sorry.
Oh, no. Basically what I was saying is like it is something new because I mean I grew up not really seeing it other than like China, which was bigger than most of the men, but
Right.
for the longest time I strictly only watched WWE. Like me getting into the indies has been something I've been doing for the last year, and that's something I've really been noticing, and I like it. and I got my first, live experience seeing it back in March, and I thought it was like really cool. It was, I like new and I like fresh, and that's what it is. And me being a really big fan and supporter of women's wrestling, I want to see them do these kind of things. I want to see it on a bigger stage too, to give it more of a spotlight. Like I would love to see WWE do it a little bit more. I don't know if they will, but
Right.
it's definitely something that's, it's new, and it's it's the business evolving, basically, in my opinion. Like it's showing that they can change and do different things that they never did before, versus kind of repeating the same thing over and over.
Exactly. Like nobody wants to see the same thing over and over. Like you said, people want to see something new. Even the audience, the fans nowadays love intergender wrestling. Is very entertaining. Like you got Tessa Blanchard on Impact fighting men. Like they're doing intergender matches on Impact, where my trainer is.
Yeah, and that was the thing that kind of got me back into Impact, because I had stopped watching it for a long time, but then when she started making noise, I kind of started peeking at it a little bit and seeing what she was doing, and it's like it was more than just matches. Like they were brawling, outside, and and stuff like that. I was like, wow, this is like intense. I was really enjoying it, So. And like you said, the fans love it,
Exactly. Yeah.
Good things about the fans. I think, some of the bigger companies are more so worried about sponsors or what someone's mom, might say, oh, they don't want their kid watching. It's just stuff like that. But I feel like, we do sometimes, live in a very sensitive world where people get offended. So I think that's what WWE is worried about, people getting offended and, getting that bad publicity and stuff like that. So hopefully it kind of starts becoming a thing. I do know that I was hoping that was going to happen with, Tessa Blanchard, what she was doing on Impact Wrestling. Because, when something gets really hot in one company, usually WWE, they try to mimic it. But, things have, obviously cooled down with that, because we haven't seen, Tessa on TV in a while. And, she had all the heat going on, so that everything kind of like died down. So I don't know where they're going to go with, it in the future. But it's still a big thing on the indies, so that's a good at least. So next question I have for you. So what so far in your wrestling career is your proudest moment?
Can you repeat that? You was breaking up a little bit.
Oh, sorry about that. I was saying, so far in your wrestling career, what has been your proudest moment so far?
So one of my proudest moments so far in the wrestling career was, first of all, sticking to it, because like I said, like when I first started wrestling, I was like, man, like, can I even do this? Like, will fans like me? Will promoters even book me? Like, I'm happy that I didn't quit. Like, I have my moments where I want to quit. So I would say that that's one of my proudest moments in the business, is not giving up and not quitting.
Oh yeah, I definitely can respect that, because I know it's not an easy business to get into. The training
No, it's
alone,
not.
the training alone is just harsh on the body and all that kind of stuff. And then it's, like you were kind of mentioning, like getting the bookings and stuff like that. Because like you can go through all the training, but then you have to work for the bookings, and you kind of have to gain a reputation, in order for you to start, kind of getting noticed more by other promoters. And also it's definitely a hard, business to get into, from, everything that I've heard and seen.
Yeah, it really is.
So, Tootie, I think that's all the questions I have for you. Is there anything else that you feel like you want to add to the episode?
No, all I want to add is, thank you everyone who's listening, and thank you JT for even having me. Like I want to do more of these, because truth be told, I'm not the best at talking. Like, I always get my words twisted up. So I would like to do more of these.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the same thing with me too. I also have, yeah, I feel like I could definitely improve with, talking and stuff like that, conversation. So that's kind of one of the many reasons why I even started my podcast.
Yeah.
So it's definitely helped open me up, and I would definitely say it would definitely help you out as well. So yeah, Tootie, no problem at all for having you on the show. You definitely have been someone I've had my eye on for, a few months. Like I said, I saw that mask. I was like, oh gosh, she has this cool mask. I definitely want to get her on the show. So yeah, thank you for, agreeing to come on the show. And do you have any social media that you want to plug on the show?
Yes, I do. So on Facebook, follow me at Tootie Lynn Ramsey. On Instagram, you can type in either Tootie Lynn Ramsey or Seishin, Seishin. On Twitter, follow me at the Tootie Lynn.
All right, make sure you all follow her on all the social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Make sure you do the same for us. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at O-Face Wrestling, and we're also on, Anchor, Spotify, and YouTube. So if you enjoyed this episode, make sure that you definitely follow us or subscribe on YouTube. And Tootie, thank you so much again for joining us today on O-Face Wrestling.
Thank you so much for having me, JT. I really appreciate this.
No problem at all, and I really appreciate you coming to the show.